I'm Jennifer Roberts, and this is True Divine 44. You can see all of the other socials and hit me up on those in the description box. Any private personal readings, energy work sessions, any spiritual coaching sessions, you can also find the information as to where to get a hold of me in the description box below this video. So this is the daily energy stroke tarot readings that I'm doing for now still, but I'm trying to work around different formats to see how we can all fit in with each other better and how I can deliver more to you and keep up with the increasing clients, which is fantastic. Can't thank you all enough for that. And so I'll be playing around with that. So leave comments as to what you might like to see, any ideas that you have, and we'll give it a roll, we'll give it a try, and find an equilibrium as to what kind of content we can get out, and more direct stuff where I can actually get to talk to you guys online while I'm doing videos. I appreciate doing that more than anything else, because you're awesome if you didn't know already. So this is for the 8th of June 2021. Take what resonates as it is general, leave what does not, and leave a comment as to how your day's going, how you're navigating the energies. Please share, please like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. It helps a girl out. So for the 8th of June 2021, on the bottom of the deck, we've got the 5 of Swords. Again, we're speaking to this conflicting energies, a lot of opposing forces, causing friction, very much so. Be aware of what you are captive of, because with the 5 of Swords, there are no winners. Everybody sort of loses something, and at the end of it doesn't actually feel like they've gained much. And so there are people who just want to stay in endless conflict. They've gotten used to that energy. They've gotten used to being in that space. And so it's for you to have the discernment to recognize this in particular today, and move away from them energetically, physically if need be, but mentally, with it being the Swords, very much so. Not giving over your thought process to a rumbling, endless conflict or an emerging conflict that isn't going to be wise to get into. You know, a warrior really has a look at what the dividends will be of any kind of battle, whether that's a battle within and the internal or on the external. And so the discernment here would be to exit left. You know, don't be a part of this rumbling, needless conflict, in particular within groups of people that are forming. You might find that you're starting to see people clinging on to or reacting in ways that are very much part of ego and not of the movement of the group or the betterment of the group. Be watchful of this, be discerning not to get caught up in this for sure. And so for the first, on the bottom of the other deck, the clarifying card, we have the Temperance card again. And so this is where you're being the ultimate alchemist in the face of conflicting energies, opposing forces. You are able to not absorb those energies, but use yourself as a vessel, as a conduit to let them run through your alchemy system, in that you don't hold on to things that aren't yours to hold on to, that of other people's egos, other people's wounds, but you are able to be discerning of them. And even if you have to be in the space of them, say a workspace, you are able to transmute these energies. But be very cognizant of the process of what you're doing. You know, visualize what you're doing. Nobody else needs to know. You are the ultimate alchemist. You can do it without anybody even knowing what you're doing, and diffuse those energies without holding on to them or letting them latch onto you. It would be really powerful, and it should be necessary anyway, as a process for everyone to do regular cleansing of your energetic space, of your energetic body. So if you are in a workspace where this conflict is always rumbling, and there's people who are addicted to drama, addicted to externalizing their worries and woes because they don't want to look on the internal, then it is worthwhile you smudging yourself, having a ritual bath, cleansing your energetic space, after you've been in contact, especially if it's close proximity, with people who are of this nature. And so, yeah, you're the alchemist, you're working through it, and see it as not a test, but a training ground of, somebody who wants to stay strong physically. They train regularly. They don't just go to the gym just when they want to bump up. They realize that getting their muscles primed and in condition takes time, and it takes continuous practice. And so the alchemist is this, the empath is this, and that when you are faced with opposing forces, don't shrink away. Absolutely stand up, level up to your alchemy self, and know that you can process those energies. And yes, it can be annoying at times, but ultimately you are going to the gym regularly, priming yourself, training yourself, having that energetic muscle memory, so to speak, so that it doesn't even take off as much effort as it used to take. Each time that you do this, you're leveling up into the masterful position of the Temperance card, which means you can absolutely transmute any kind of energies, in any kind of circumstance. So the Temperance card is number 14. Rounding that off, that would be a 5. So we have the 5, when you're bringing it down into your focus point, into the 5, into that middle point, into that mid ground, to absolutely meet with opposing force, but superior force, because this is a major arcana, this is a minor arcana. Absolutely meet with that opposing force. To be able to transmute it into something that you, with your intent, wish to see. Now, because of it being swords here, and the Temperance card is actually representative of Aquarius, most of all, which is an air card, but it speaks to the emotional body, the energetic body. Your powerful words today, for sure, be very focused on what you're saying and how you're saying them, because they carry a lot of power in every day, in every way. But today, be very cognizant of what you're saying and speak powerful words over yourself and into situations. Do not shrink away from these energies, because if you're resonating with this, then you are on the top of the hill, so to speak. You are in the higher ground. This is the major arcana. This came up yesterday. So a lot of people that resonated with it yesterday, in particular empaths, will be feeling this today also. But you are superior to these energies, this force that is trying to oppose you. But you are equal to it in numbers. So you are able to bring this into the 10, into shutting this down, so to speak, transmuting the energies to either neutralize them or lift the vibration of the group, of the situation up. And also within yourself, you're doing this if this resonates with you. And so what you're doing on the internal is represented on the external, and vice versa. And so you're having a huge impact in being able to step up into your alchemy self, into your masterful position. Now, we've got the first card as the number 6, 6 of swords. This is where there's strategy here, there's game here, but there's also victory in the game. And this is where it's having that wisdom and that knowledge to know that yes, this is an immersive game that we're in. We're feeling it, we're sensing it, we're smelling it, we're touching it, we're doing everything to be so immersed in this game of this reality that we found ourselves in. What is your purpose? One thing they've stolen a lot of our knowledge and a lot of our wisdom, and some of that wisdom is to know your purpose, know thyself. And they'll often quote to each other their purpose, their roles. And people on the outside in the collective will look at these elite so-called powers that be and wonder why they would go to such extravagance, to such levels of manipulation, why they would even try so hard. And that is because they have been indoctrinated with our ancient knowledge of knowing their purpose, being primed for their role. Whereas we're sort of in the collective a lot like, you know, a blind fish just swimming around, not knowing quite why we're here or what we're here to do. So this is where you listen to yourself, ask yourself that question, what is my purpose today? Even if you don't want to answer that question on the grander scale, because can that question ever truly be answered within this lifetime, in this reality? Fully, I don't think so. But each and every day, to know your purpose, to set yourself a focused task, to be able to immerse yourself in the game, having that end goal. You know, board game always has an end to it, a way of winning it. And so find your winning point today and strategize with that, you know, be very focused. This is where we start to remember ourselves. We start to remember the knowledge that they are so desperately trying to kill off, literally and spiritually. And so this is where us grasping this knowledge again and actually using it in our day-to-day lives really does sway the tide to bringing our power back. And knowing the game is not just in this reality that you see with these two eyes. A lot of you have been really getting stirred up in spirit and being able to see things that you didn't see before in this reality and on, say, vision quests, lucid dreaming. A lot of you have leveled up greatly over the last few weeks and are switching on to this new level of board game. And so being able to find your purpose, your focus within this, and be able to see it as a game. It's not to negate that horrible things are happening and we need to take action, but that being also part of the game. So it's sort of the dualistic system of you taking it really seriously, being really focused, having your purpose, having your intent, but at the same time being in flow, being free to know that it is a game that you're participating in. This will help you along the way of your day to for your greatness, to have that focus and that purpose, and sort of in the background of it's okay, I'm just making moves in a game, just making moves in a game. And they are playing a game, they are strategizing a hell of a lot. And so this is where we take that power back in our individual lives also. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles to clarify, the Six of Swords. So this would speak to abundance, lands, you know, the magic of 369, and we actually have 369 on the board here. And so this is where your strategy, your game plan, your purpose and your focus is truly representative of your reality. So if your reality is not resonating with you, is not matching with who you feel you are, what you want to, how you want to be perceived, how you perceive yourself, then do something about it. Strategize, work towards it, make those plans, make those goals, and make sure that you meet them each and every day, because the abundance is there. It's time to get really fired up about what you're doing and whatever you feel your purpose is, because the power in that is that there is this abundance, there is this alignment, there is this whole field of pentacles, of physical possibilities that you are reaching into your consciousness to strategize, and you're reaching that magical nine, that field of possibilities that Tesla discussed, but you're being able to find a way to draw it into this reality represented in your pentacles that you have around you, your people, your home, your car, your business, the land. And so a lot of strategies and the so-called powers that they've been going on, and I'll quickly cover this in that, you know, it is going to become very apparent as to why the likes of Gates and Soros have been buying up land. Yes, the very obvious thing that I talked about a long time ago, where they were going to hedge off a lot of the farmland because they want to push this fakery, this fake food that has very nefarious things in it. So there's that also. But also it is a strategy of not allowing free movement of people. And where people can't say that right now because they're still allowing some of that movement. I think it'll become very clear if we do not turn the tide to stop what is happening and have these people locked up, then it'll become very clear as to why they've bought land in certain areas, particularly in America and Australia, to stop free movement of people. It's very strategic land that they've bought. And so look out for that, make a noise about that, support your local farmers, particularly the smaller ones that haven't sold out to the corporations, because I know that in the UK and the US in particular, and India and many other places, farmers have been under heavy attack, and heavy attack in the UK in particular, with a very similar scenario to this, when we looked at all of the was it swine flu, where they killed all of those healthy cattle. That was a move, and it was shown that the numbers were never right, and that shouldn't have happened, because they shouldn't have relied on a computer in Cambridge and a guy who literally is wrong every time, deliberately so. So there's that. This has been going on a long time, and we're starting to see the fruits of their strategy. And so for us to take this back, for us to be growing our own food as much as possible, but also supporting local farmers and helping them when they make a noise about what is happening, will also bring some power back into your game and their game. And so we've got the number 9 of wands. This speaks about have a lot of discernment. So it's a lot about real strategy, real time to take pauses throughout today as to what words you're using, what your intent is, and recognizing the intent of others, particularly with this 5 of swords in the mix too, in that there is conflict, there are snakes in the grass, there are people who are in disguise, and that might be in your individual life, and it is on the collective stage, in that there are many people infiltrating groups that are trying to move in a way to help people take their power back from tyrannical governments and whatnot. But also in our individual lives, the energy very much is there for these people, these snakes in the grass that are so nice to your face, but actually don't want anything good for you. They're not wanting either for the benefit of you particularly, or just other individuals in general. They just don't, they just don't want the best for others, basically. And so be super discerning about this. The 9 of wands asks us to stop and take a pause, realign our thoughts, and look at this strategically before you make the next move. Be very aware of people trying to pressure you into an answer today. Don't be pressured into an answer without having the ability to take a pause, even if that means I'm not willing to answer you today. I'll give you an answer tomorrow, kind of thing. That would be, again, very advisable if you have these energies around you and have somebody pressuring. So what's the answer? What's the answer? Will you do it? Will you not? That kind of thing. So we've got, to clarify, the 9 of wands. If you look at this 9 of wands, sorry, it's a beautiful depiction of the 9 of wands, because you can see the master is teaching the younger person, and the younger person is literally drawing the blueprint, the map of the stars. They have their wands around them, and they're within the shape. So they're taking a space of safety while they discern that is above them and that is below them, and therefore around them, looking for the changes, looking for the signs from the universe. Look at the skies today, actually, because I'm pretty drawn to this card for that. Look at the skies today. You might see some very unusual happenings today in the sky. Of course, if you see that, drop a comment down below, and email me if you get any pictures, because there's some activity in the skies today. I feel that people are going to see things that look very different. And so We have the Two of Pentacles to clarify. It's back again. Yes, it's back again. Two of Pentacles. So this is where there is a juggling. There is aspects, different aspects, opposing forces of your material, your reality of your material life that you are juggling and trying to maintain a balance between the two. For a lot of you that might be listening, not particularly the people that would comment regularly, but some of you also, you still haven't been making those moves to get out of situations, relationships, jobs that are really just not in alignment with who you are. There's still this balancing act, this juggling act, to try and be perceived a certain way that actually doesn't really resonate with you anymore. You've outgrown it. And so there is that. And you know the advice. The advice is to get comfortable enough with yourself, know thyself enough that you can let go of the perception that you have to try and uphold for others, to live up to a standard for others in particular. And you can put that to anything that resonates with you. It also speaks to the separation, and I know beloved, my friend, sort of had a different opinion of this, but this separation of realities within the same lifetime, within the same dimension, this separation of realities that is happening. There are, in my opinion, tears. There are breaks in the ground. There is also this separation that is being deliberately manufactured by the infusions, so to speak, and also the skies. The limiting of airlines comes in today, big style. I don't know exactly where, but I can feel that the skies for a lot of people are just shut down again. That's going to have a lot of people stuck somewhere somewhere else other than their home. So they have to try and juggle their material lives from a place that they would just visit in, let's say, to where their home is, and that becomes very difficult. Again, there's strategy behind this, there's thought behind this from the so-called powers that be. Be aware of that before you want to hop on a plane to holiday, or if you do want to get out of wherever you are, make those moves, plan and strategize now, because I feel like they're going to be shutting down the skies on and off sporadically for quite some time. And so on the next card, we have the Empress, but she's in reverse. So this is where we get the 3, but it's in reverse. And this is where there are still a lot of people that use the wisdom of the Empress, which is your thoughts, your words, your deeds create the reality that you live in, but actually use it against themselves, because there's still this overwhelming energy of self-deprecating thoughts, self-deprecating words, not speaking power to yourself, not speaking beauty and abundance to yourself, but speaking lack, speaking fear. So there's a lot of this where we are our worst enemy within this, in that we turn ourselves on ourselves. The wisdom is to not do that, to turn that around. Speak positively to yourself today, even if it feels super odd at first. Speak really positively to yourself today. Speak powerful words to yourself today. Otherwise, you're going to see a reality that you still end up juggling in, and wish you'd taken your discernment and taken your time to be focused and strategizing your game with these other 2 sets of cards here. It also speaks to where there is duality of this surge of divine feminine energy, goddesses reawakening to themselves, recognizing who they are, and masters within the men having the ability to even have the lens that is wise enough to see a goddess in front of them. where there is that happening in a huge way, there is also on the lower frequency side of things a push for divine feminine, but in a very low frequency way. And so there is a lot going on today regarding the so-called powers that be, the females or so-called females for a great part, pushing really negative and narcissistic values, pushing something forward through law, to be able to, instead of where the divine feminine wants to hold space and time for creation, this divine feminine wants to create and push their agenda into the reality, but wants to very much control and harness the creativity of others, and is seeking to limit that so they can contain it. And that is a lot to do with the law today. And these women, these females who are pushing things that are not for the greatest good of the collective. It also speaks to the mother in people's individual lives. And you might be witnessing this as aware, alert and awake people. The lack of the mothering, the lack of the natural mothering instinct in a lot of people. And it's really upsetting and weird to watch, that you will see today parents quite happy to push their children forward into this very nefarious and dark agenda that we are going through right now, to be experimented upon. You'll see this today with something I covered just ever so slightly yesterday with the transgender agenda, in that you will see mothers that are quite willing to pimp out their children to an agenda, to give them, put them in a very blurred and very confused adult world, by making decisions today. It does feel like that's going to be on the news somewhere, that somebody very young is put forward for something regarding the changing of the biological makeup that they were born with. That saddens me greatly. And if it comes up, let me know, but I don't think I'll be watching it, because it's enough to make me rage in my divine feminine aspect of me that can get to that righteous anger stage. And so this is happening. And so it is for us as divine feminines and divine masculine masters to recognize those that have the goddess within, for those to know the goddess within, and really, really push that kind of frequency and love and compassion, but also protective nature out into the collective, into your individual life. And you can only do this when you do it with yourself. So when you do speak negative words to yourself and they sneak into your brain and they sneak out of your mouth, stop yourself, bind them up, because you're not doing anybody any favors at this point by still doing that. You are degrading the goddess within. If you have somebody in your individual life that is actively degrading the goddess within, degrading the mother within, you get rid of that. Stop the excuses, stop the pondering, stop the procrastination, and get rid of that out of your life. To defile and degrade a goddess, we can only expect that to not be happening in the wider stage if we are not going to allow it to happen as individuals. The only way, the only reason they manage to hijack the divinities within us is because at some point, we've been complacent enough, apathetic enough to give it away, to even do the job for them, to even look in the mirror and speak words of hate, words of and thoughts of degrading yourself. And that is a tragedy and a travesty. So where we feel this righteous anger and rage, what we see them doing on the collective stage, on the wider stage, then we can't really expect any different if we are willing to look in the mirror and do the job for them ourselves also, or if we are willing to continue to allow others into our lives that do the job for them also. How can we expect the wider stage to look any different when all of us are energetic beings? We're given off frequency all of the time. If we're allowing this in our individual life, we are a part of feeding into the system the acceptance of this, that we would degrade the gods within, the goddesses within. It's got to stop, and it has to stop in our individual lives. The excuses have to stop. And I wouldn't usually say got to, have to, but there's so much riding on this right now. And for the mother to come forward and the mother to be in reverse, this is speaking out loudly. This is universal energy speaking out loudly to say, how can you expect any different? I give you what you want. I'm holding space and time for what you create. So if you are speaking words of lack, words of, degrading words, degrading thoughts to yourself, or allowing that into your life yourself, then you're not representing the mother, the goddess energy, the divine feminine energy. You are actively playing a part in degrading it yourself. So take back that power today. Speak powerful words to yourself. Love yourself, touch your skin. Tell your body that you are thankful that even after everything it goes through, all of the sprays in the sky, all of the chemicals in the food, everything that we do to not look after it, and it still works to be here and balance out and beat every day. Speak words that are thankful and in reverence to this body that you are in, this biological organism that keeps on pushing, that keeps on balancing out, that keeps on moving. And speak to yourself spiritually. Start to really connect with who and what you are spiritually, not just physically. Pull in all those aspects of you and bring the power back to you. If in your individual life there's something that resonates with you here that you know needs to be fixed, a relationship that is not right with you, that does not resonate with you or lift you up, that is not balanced and whole, this is speaking to you today to act on that and represent yourself truly as a warrior and as a compassionate and loving being. First and foremost, be passionate and loving to yourself in order to have an impact on the outside of self. It's really calling out today for sure. So we've got the Page of Swords as the last card to clarify the mother. And so the child, the child is born from the thoughts, the words, the deeds of the Empress energy. And so whether this is just a thought process that is born, not just, but a thought process that is born, this is the child that is born, this page. And so you are creating through your thoughts, your words, your deeds, as the Page of Swords would represent, your reality. Go back to basics of seeking the truth of you. This Page of Swords seeks the truth. It wants to know the truth. And I think there's a lot of deliberate distraction right now to have us distracted only on the external, only on the things we feel we have to try and fix on the external. When all of those things, all of those first keys, those first doors to walk through to create change are within you. and within your individual life. So to explore you today, find out who you really are, what you resonate with, where you're at in your journey, and love yourself through it. The Page of Swords does not cast any judgment. It's just a seeker. It seeks information. And so where there is a lot of pulling and pushing to get us to seek information outside of ourselves, which is super important, in particular when you're trying to help wake people up. You can't do it for them, but you can help put the information out there. The distraction is there because they know the power is within. The power is those that taking the time out to explore themselves and accept themselves, to not be in any kind of judgment, but be the energetic child that isn't afraid to dig deeper, and is what's the word? Intrigued. Get intrigued by you today, and see how much power that brings back for you to then to be able to project out into the physical reality that we are in, and also the spiritual battle that we are in. It's a battle for the souls. And so this also speaks to, in the reverse, I feel, a lot of mothers needing to hear the fact that love and light also consists of protective, righteous rage when people are coming for your children in the way that they're coming for your children. For all children. There's something about this raw rage within this Empress card in reverse, when certain truths are divulged, either in your individual lives or on the collective stage, that involve children. This is where this part of your goddess, this aspect of your goddess, is in rightful rage. And it's an energy that can then be channeled to challenge others that come for your children. And so there's something about a real movement of this within people who resonate with this today. And this is necessary. And to be honest, it does give you goosebumps, because this is it's something that you're in awe of when you see it in somebody. The righteous, divine, feminine mother, and the protective rage that can be channeled from the deep. And so today is powerful, whichever way you look at it, however you resonate with it. But it's all about bringing it back to you yet again, as it always is, but in different ways. There's different advices to go with it. So today, bringing the power back to you, being strategic, taking those pauses, not procrastinating, finding your purpose, and most of all, being able to not be psyops into thinking that love and light only consists of rainbows and unicorns. It doesn't. The love comes from the deep. The baby is created in the dark womb. It rises up through the energetic points of you to get to light. But its source is always the dark. If you think of like Vanta Black, that color, look up that color. There's so much spiritual connections to that it absorbs all the other colors in the spectrum and holds it there. So is black always bad? No. Is dark always bad? No. Often it's the thing that is able to absorb all of the spectrum, and then in other circumstances highlight and like the divine feminine energy, be the blanket, the black sky that Manly P. Hall spoke of, that shows the masculine stars, the masculine fire of the stars. So without that contrast, we don't see them. They're there, but we don't see them. So finding this goddess within you today and not allowing this goddess to be degraded today is super powerful. goosebump powerful. So that's the reading for the 8th of June 2021. Heavy, heavy, but awesome energies that you can dig into today for your greatness. And that is the intent that I put out for you. Please connect with that intent if you feel you can do so, for your greatness, to reach your highest potentials. And let me know how you're getting on. Much love, balance, and wholeness. Remember to share, give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Mwah.